So, we are no hippies, and this is our first podcast.
We ain't no hippies.
We ain't no hippies. We are no hippies. We've made it to Spain, northern Spain. It's taken 2.5 years to get here. We have literally
That's
been
not just
driving.
bad traffic.
We haven't literally been driving for 2.5 years, but we've been building the van and living in it for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Since the idea spawned. It's been a hell of a 5 days
Yeah.
getting since we left the UK. It was super snowy.
Got all kinds of weather.
We made it down the M20 during the first main day of snow,
Yeah.
and amazingly it was clear because everyone else was avoiding it, which was great.
And they'd gritted it loads.
They had gritted it loads. The van was
Ridiculous amount.
horrible, but at least we got down it. And then we made it down to Poitiers.
In France.
I think it's Poitiers. It sounds posh.
Poitiers. Poitiers?
Poiter.
Someone will correct us.
Mid-France, anyway, where we then got snowed off the road. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Nathan.
I'm Izzy.
Hello. So now we've made it down to northern Spain as we got through the Spanish border.
Which we didn't actually realise we got through the Spanish border, did we, for a while?
You got overexcited because you thought we'd passed it ages ago. Then we realised
It was
we
just
hadn't.
some other river in France.
And as we kind of went over, it all overheated. The coolant light came on. We'd pulled into a Lidl's, and then that's when the steam came out the bonnet.
Just as we were pulling to the Lidl's, they had a ticketed barrier.
Nice.
And that's when all the steam started coming up. Which was
So,
exciting.
but we managed to stop, and then found that we're in a really industrial area. So there was an Iveco garage,
Just down the road.
literally just down the road. So we managed to buy the part, bodge a part to fit. So less than a day later,
Yeah.
we were back on the road.
We had to stay in a pretty minging trucker's stop.
Yeah, but
But
that's right.
it
It was
was
safe
alright.
and somewhere to do it, and
Yeah.
somewhere to do the work.
Someone around 24 hours a day as well, which was good.
Yeah, because I left on the push bike to go and get the part down a horrible, busy motorway-esque road, but we did it. So what we want to talk about is why we ended up living in a van
Why are we here?
and what the point was or is. Because
Do you know?
so about 2.5-3 years ago, I think it was now, we were looking for somewhere to live. We went and looked at several properties.
Yeah, we looked at some very nice ones as well, but the main thing for us at the time was the extortionate cost of renting on top of the actual rent per month.
It was just painful. It made me feel ill to my core. So we really quickly decided on living in a vehicle. We looked at
Well, we briefly looked at mobile homes.
Static homes.
That's it.
But they were disgustingly expensive for some cardboard and
We looked
roof.
at a hut at some point as well, but
Did we?
we did, yeah.
Right.
But the issue with that was, although it was a lovely A-frame hut, but the issue with it was that there was no garage space or any storage.
Oh, I remember
And-
that. That was down at Matcham's Lane in Dorset. Yeah.
And obviously, because both of us.
And then actually, I think since it's turned out there was massive planning issues and everyone's been kicked off the site, I think. But
That's all right then.
yeah, so we looked at what was the first one we looked at? A horse kind of
Horse boxes.
horse boxes.
Yeah,
'cause
large
they were
horse
nice and
boxes.
square. And it was during that period that I was reading the Van Dog blog. I just started a new job at this place, and it was in an office. So I was all like suited.
So naturally, you're reading Van Dog blog.
So naturally, I was planning an escape. I think it was like 1.5 weeks into getting this job. I was like, oh, this is rough. And so it naturally progressed into why would we stay still and not explore if we are living on wheels, because UK was really evidently at that point not suitable for, or not totally fluid into living in that kind of lifestyle.
No.
So we ended up buying a old Winnebago, a mid-80s Winnebago.
Yeah, which was strange because up until the point that we went to see that Winnebago, we had our hearts set on being completely stealthy.
Yeah, we did. We did want stealth, but mainly I think because we were concerned and cautious about kind of living in a van.
But yeah, it was very new to us, and I think to an extent we didn't want to be seen.
Yeah, we wanted to be hidden. We felt kind of aware of it. Oh, here comes some rain. Lovely sunny Spain.
Spain, not quite Portugal.
Not Portugal yet. Trying to get there.
Yeah. Same weather in Portugal, so it's fine.
So stealth didn't pan out. We ended up buying an old mid-80s Winnebago that we found on Gumtree, because the guy wanted to redo it, couldn't redo it because it was getting too old. And as soon as I saw the amount of windows and like the water systems installed, I was like, there's a lot of money saved here.
Everything was already in it.
Yeah,
everything.
in the kind of in that water system way, and
all the tanks are already fitted.
Yeah, water tanks.
LPG system already
LPG as well. I think that was the defining moment when he opened that little hutch and showed me the LPG tank. I was like, perfect, done.
Yeah.
So it was the opposite of what we were going for. It was bright yellow.
It was bright yellow. It was banana yellow.
It was banana yellow.
Roll it on. Hand roll it on. Which
was rough.
I've seen good examples of hand rolled, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. Or like khaki green. Like
ours ain't this far from hand rolled, so we've got to be careful.
Yeah, this was a special kind of hand rolled.
Yeah. So we got it trailered back in front of your mum's house. To redo it, ripped all the inside out because it was like shag pile and shag pile around the toilet, which like
carpeted around the toilet.
No thanks.
Yeah,
that wasn't for us.
That was your job to rip that up.
That was all. I think it was all my job in that respect. But yeah, and then we bought IKEA units and fitted it out, and we ended up meeting some people through some people, and ended up living in a field for about year and a half in the end, was it? We were saving money and finishing the van.
Yeah.
Because it was based on an old Renault Traffic chassis, an engine, and the Winnebago. And the engine kept dying. Every time we went out on it, it came back.
Well, the first time you went out on it on your own.
Yeah.
And I phoned you because I'd also
Where did I go? Cornwall?
You went down to Devon.
Yeah.
And I phoned you because I was in Wales on my motorbike and I'd also broken down.
Yeah, the same moment.
I broke down exactly the same time, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can quite assist me as I wanted to. So that was the first time it just completely overheated and broke down, and the
wheel fell off.
And the wheel fell off.
We ended up buying a newer Iveco Daily cabin chassis, an old Tesco delivery van, basically.
It's still got the Tesco's 10 tips to help your customers in the
service
front.
in the front sticker, in case we get confused. So we brought that and cut the front of the Winnebago off. You can see that in one of our videos, and dumped the back end on, and that's where we are today. Really, with that van. We looked at a lot of different options and went through a lot of different options, but really we just went with what was in front of us at that moment to be able to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, also, you know, as with many other people, we're limited by finances a bit.
Yeah, we were a bit, because we were just doing it month by month, what we could afford that month. But what would you say was easiest about going from living in a traditional house to living in this van setup, given we were both working full-time, fairly conventional jobs?
For me, I think the easiest thing... It's a really tricky one. Well, you go first, and then maybe I'll think of something.
The easiest for me, because we had the cars as well at that point, because the van, we could just leave it in this fairly secure-ish field. It was just kind of opening the door in the summer morning and just seeing the view of the countryside. It was just so nice. You know, it kind of reminds you that peace exists naturally, and all the manicness of the day and our jobs or whatever is totally human created.
I think one of my favourite memories from the first summer that we lived in the van, so we moved in to the van at the beginning of June 2016.
I think that's right, yeah. Because this is beginning 2018 now.
So then that was a really nice summer we had up there. I think my favourite memory is, so the field that we were staying in, they had the outdoor shower.
Yeah.
At the time it was a hot outdoor shower, and I remember just one day having a shower on a hot sunny day, and just looking up the sky. It was blue sky, there was trees overhead, birds flying, and I could feel the heat of the shower, but also the sun on my face. I just remember thinking, why would you want to be boxed in? Like, it's just more.
We got to say though, it wasn't a campsite. You're making it sound like a campsite. This was an occasional festival field site, which is why it had that setup. Yeah. So it wasn't like super luxurious. It was still, you're stood on a crate. Ah, the hill stopped. How silent is that? Yeah. You stood on a crate in this field, but
stood in mud, but the rest of you got clean.
Yeah,
but it was lovely. That was good. It was perfect.
So that I guess I found that a real nice, easy transition.
Okay.
What would you say you found hardest about living in the van?
The thing I found hardest about living in the van
was coming.
is I love stuff, and I love clothes and things. I'm not ashamed to say I'm quite materialistic in that sense, but in the sense that I find beauty in sometimes just really stupid little things.
I like having little everywhere.
I like having crap everywhere. I like having little statues, little models of things, just things that gather dust.
Yeah, I like minimal. I like clean surfaces. But I had a lot of stuff to get rid of. I had a whole unit full from floor literally to ceiling to sell and get rid of.
Yeah.
Like workshop stuff, lathes and all this kind of stuff. So we both had to get rid of stuff in that way.
Well, most of mine went up to my father's attic, luckily.
I don't know, once I started getting rid of it all, it became really freeing. Like that first big sale, it's like, get rid of that. It was never about the money, it was about getting rid of stuff and just being a lot lighter with that. But at the same
time, because there is obviously that slight age gap between us, there's things that you will have had for quite a number of years that you got rid of.
Yeah.
And you've had a bit more time to get used to having those things that you've kind of bought yourself and you've worked for and you bought it in that way, whereas I haven't quite had that for quite as long.
I think that point goes against what you were trying to
I don't know what I'm saying.
I think you were strengthening my point there. But what I found
I just started talking and just wanted to see where I was going with that.
Yeah, open the mouth, words come out. What I found difficult was working in like a drawing office, a very conventional office where everyone works by particular rules because it's all like architectural drawing and stuff. Mentioning that I lived in a van didn't come until like a year and a half later.
Well, was it not after you handed your notice in?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. About that time. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
No.
It just didn't feel. There were a couple people in the company that knew. It was only like 20 people tops.
But they kind of figured it out for themselves, really, didn't they?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think a lot. I don't think many people did. The guy I sat next to did because he had previously lived in a van when he was younger.
Well, that's who I meant.
Yeah, but also he wasn't stupid. A lot of other people there were not stupid, but just very, very conventional.
Yeah.
They were smart people, but very, very conventional. So I found it difficult in that way. Like, I'd walk in, and because I'd trekked across the field, my feet would just be my shoes would be muddy, you know. And then you turn down, you're pointing at something on this real clean white bit of paper, and you're like, my finger's quite dirty, actually. You know, it's not like we are unclean, but you just kind of, living in this environment, you get somewhat grubby.
But at the same time, you were still doing a lot of the work on the van.
I was, every night
quite
and every
a few
weekend.
Periods when you were working my motorbike for me.
Yeah. I was always hands-on at night and day. But
helping people out with the cars up where we were staying, and
Yeah, but they'd expect you to do that and then still have a bath or whatever afterwards. It just didn't kind of transition in that way.
So I think it was quite difficult for me to whittle down my wardrobe. I'm a big fan of fancy dress parties.
You are. You have still got your fancy shoes. Show your shoes. Get your silver shoes out. These ones I've never seen worn, but still fall out the wardrobe every time. Every time. They are fancy. I do like them, but...
So I've only got 2 fancy dress things left, which is these shoes, and I've also got a holographic blue jumpsuit.
Yeah, I think I walked in the other week and you were wearing it along with a load of other stuff. just randomly.
I just decked myself out.
I'm not sure you're expecting me to come back.
I wanted to feel fancy.
Yeah.
But that's what, apparently when I was in play school, in nursery, I wouldn't ever share the dressing up box. I used to try and put as many fancy dress things on at once as I possibly could. And then I used to scream when I got told to share the dresses with everyone else.
What would you do differently at this point? Would you have swapped any of your stuff out? Would you have changed clothing for, more, because you've got your jewellery stuff here, because you make all your jewellery stuff in the van. What would you do differently at this point? At
the bottom of my big clothing drawer, I've got 2 very formal dresses, which I don't know when I'm going to wear those, but I really like having them, just in case.
That's where this extra weight's come from. This is why we've got to increase suspension.
It's really difficult because also at the time my silversmithing and jewellery making wasn't at the point that it is now.
No.
So we've had to come up with more space for that.
Yeah, not too much. It's not wild.
Not too much more space, but it has changed the dynamic of things a bit.
Yeah, but we're always moving things around. Only this morning I moved fuel cans to the front and put a bag under there. You're always shifting things around, trying to perfect the layout and make things as efficient as possible and the balance of the weight within the vehicle and stuff. I think what I would have done differently, and we've talked about this a number of times now, is because we've got a trailer on the back with 2 motorbikes in and 2 push bikes on top, which actually now we're in Spain, we're shipping the trailer all the way back home to England.
I haven't even been here a week.
Because the van doesn't like going up these Spanish hills with it. No. It's just half a ton too much.
As we would both really, really like to have the motorbikes, what's the point of having motorbikes if you can't get to the place? Yeah.
Every 2 weeks. So, yeah, we discussed, would it be more economical to buy a coach, because actually coaches are quite cheap, and do your 7.5 ton licence for £1,500, and just have an easy big space, or actually have a smaller van and constantly faff and squeeze everything in? And I'm actually becoming, and I didn't know where I sat on that kind of question still, but I think parking and moving around, even in towns and the such like, with just a single van, because we're just the size of a Tesco delivery van overall, length and height, that's easier. Because once you get, we're at the moment with our trailer, we're 10 metres long. Finding parking is hassle. You're paying double for parking. Turning around, it's just big. That kind of size is too big. So this medium to long wheel-based van size is kind of the maximum
for us and what we want to do.
Yeah, definitely. Given there's only 2 of us and Floyd the dog, who's getting bigger.
He is getting bigger.
He was a puppy and he was small.
He is this big.
And it turns out actually he's going to get really, really big. But yeah, so I think that's our journey towards this point now, our first week in Spain. What we did, why we did it.
My top tip for visiting Spain is learn some Spanish before you get there.
My top tip is download Google Translate, because I spoke with all of the guys in the garages looking for particular sizes, hose and connectors with ease. I just wrote it out, they read it, and we knew exactly what we were talking about. So, screw your books.
Well, I had a good French conversation with someone today. That was nice. I also had a Spanish conversation, which was a very one-way Spanish conversation, with a nice mustachioed man.
Mustachioed? Is that Spanish for moustache? Mustachioed.
Mustachioed. Who directed me to the sea. The mer. Agua.
That's just water,
There was lots of no entiendo. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to wrap this up, Izzy, before you go on to a 10-minute rant about your walking down to the coast.
It's beautiful. The Bay of Biscay.
The Bay of Biscay.
Not daylight, well, a sunny interval daylight today.
So,
really nice.
Wrap it up. End of podcast 1. Done.